global fund is almost investment fund for private investment is more than $3 trillion. And in China, it's easily about two-thirds of that amount. So if we're able to establish that kind of ecosystem in Hong Kong and leverage on the old infrastructure, the connection network from the institutional investment, and also leverage on our proximity to mainland China, this potential is huge.
Yes, that's actually my point as well, that Hong Kong could be the hub for insurance. That we have lots of companies in China that could be tokenized, right? And Hong Kong play the role, and we are the one-stop shop, and we help them to be listed in US, right? Wherever, right? And that could be a little bit related to your point about fundraising. But when you issue the token, part of the technical thinking about a Chinese business is, okay, now my token is how much fund do I raise, right? That's very important and very technical. So it's indirectly related to fundraise, amount of fundraise as well. So that could be something in the big kind of vision for us. And you think it's achievable? I mean, based on your current knowledge of what we're doing and with some effort to help and promote to the government, do you think we have a chance?
Just to add a little bit with what Peter said previously, well, the fact that you need to start using blockchain is a globalization thing, right? I mean, you don't really necessarily have exchange in Hong Kong to achieve all the things that we just, mentioned previously. However, the only thing that in Hong Kong that you really need an exchange for would probably be the data collection for KYC and AML part, and how this would be the investors' funds will be able to insure in Hong Kong as a custodian service that you can provide to the customers to ensure that their money is not being stolen, to ensure that the governance is there, and to ensure that all these, particular rules that we impose on ourselves can be executed properly through one organization that can be, taking the leadership of. It's not just right now for us in the IPO sector will be the Hong Kong Exchange, but what about the blockchain sphere? Is there any way that we can potentially develop one?
So this is interesting point. So you're saying that we could be AML hub in the world. We could be the custodian hub of the world, right? Could we we don't think about this way in each player of the ecosystem I showed this morning. We just specialize one thing and do it very well. Do we success in that way? Can we?
Can I just something? Because I think Peter's point is really, really, really important. There's one takeaway, there's one word that you should just burn into your heart is the custody word, right? Because again, when you have assets flowing all over these networks 24/7, whoever manages the custody is, or in some sense, the key management, right? Because when it works, is going to clean up, right? But we're not. I mean, Liechtenstein, you've got Malta, you've got Gibraltar, you've got everyone I think knows this. But it's really important that we focus on what the business goal is, which I personally think is an insurance side, but the insurance side only works if you've got the custody. So the custody is the nucleus, is the base layer that I think we must perfect. But for what purpose is for the insurance section? Why? Because again, the nature of the way that we're managing risk, which is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, time periods are getting sort of from months to just in time. That's how this new infrastructure is going to work. I want to clarify also that I didn't mean that exchanges, be it centralized or decentralized, won't have a role. I think exchanges do have a role in terms of managing the order book, but I don't think they will have a custody role. I think that will be separated out. So price determination and order book management is what exchanges will do, centralized or decentralized. The custody role is something that I think Hong Kong do very well.
So let me just react and ask for your comment. Let's assume custody is very important and Hong Kong could play a role. What kind of policy are we going to propose to the government? What kind of policy or method are we going to say to the industry? Is it need technology? Do we need technology development, or this is just a business that business people are attracted to, and they will automatically be, if they see opportunity, they should be all right working towards that that business. So Hong Kong is very sensitive to profit making, right? So what do we need to do? Assuming custody is one of the key or one of the opportunity, what do we just wait?
Sorry, I wasn't going to speak about custody, but if somebody wanted to, I was going to speak about RegTech, but somebody
Just to answer your question, hollow mountains. Right? No, as I said, I'm in Switzerland.
And push the sand into
Well, no.
this
I mean,
island.
there's a very serious
Pakistan.
reason for this. It's we have, we put wine in all sorts of places, and that's a new business. But let's put it this way: we know how to do physical custody. We put it in a very safe place, people with guns, right? Basically, right? That's kind of what it was. And that's something that we actually need, right? So we can't get access to a hollow mountain. Apparently, in Switzerland and Liechtenstein, all the mountains are hollow, right? But this is what we really talk about, is towards physical custody, like Fort Knox, what have you, all the gold is there. So it's not entirely what private sector can do. There needs to be, again, a public-private partnership for what is, we agree what the rules are, the regulators and government say, here are the ground rules, we'll provide this hollow mountain space, or whatever one it is, with power, what have you, and then we can start. Because then we can say, okay, you're the referee, right? This sounds crazy, but I've been in this space for a while. It gives people the confidence. Now, people talk about cold wallets and all that other stuff about when exchanges get hacked, but that's a starting point, and it seems like a not obvious starting point. So I throw it out there.
The part that I wanted to add was something, a slide came on early this morning. I took a picture, shared it with some of my circles. So I'm the co-chair of the RegTech committee for the FinTech Association. And I like the slide that said that STOs as RegTech. And I think that's something potentially that Hong Kong, if you're talking about engaging the regulators, we have started down that road. So we've been trying to get the regulators to engage in that, to encourage the industry, both in terms of traditional financial institutions as well as fintechs, to adopt more RegTech. And about 2 weeks ago, the Arthur Yuan has issued a speech, specifically in relation to the regulators' view. A private partnership is the regulators are now thinking about RegTech. How can we use RegTech to encourage the growth of the space? And if within the STO space, we in Hong Kong start working together and want to develop RegTech solution, describe STOs as a RegTech, I think that regulators may be more receptive to that, because now they are better understanding, appreciating, hey, we can use technology to fight financial crime, right? You use AML. How many times was AML mentioned today, right? So you all get it, and that's one of the reasons why STOs are of appeal, and that's what the regulators want to hear. So we focus on technologies that address those. I think that can be a competitive advantage.
Yes. Okay. So we also want to put content into two national policy into perspective, not just Hong Kong. Hong Kong is an intersection of the Greater Bay Area, also the Railroad Initiative, BRI. So with the two major national initiatives intersecting in Hong Kong, we should put this into perspective. So how are the Greater Bay Area, for example, would help to position Hong Kong as a hub for STO, or the Belt and Road would help them. So any views on this one?
Okay, so we already have, we still make things across the board, like manufacturing and high-tech. And so what many people don't realize is that for the last 2 years, there's customs and excise, there's this electronic lock that we put on a physical container, that when it crosses a physical border, because you've seen exactly where the container went, it's called e-lock, right? You may or may not want to inspect that customs good again. And so we need to talk about practical things, which is now that with blockchain technologies you can stream money like you can stream music, right? If you can see the movement of the physical product across border and reduce customs and excise time, there's something that if that lock, and I written in my article, is blockchain aware, in other words, you don't just write it to where is this container, where is the lock, we will have transformed the way trade is done, because we can provide financing as needed, conditional upon performance, not conditional upon exchange of paper, but conditional upon where the physical goods are. Now, in the midst of a trade war, it's going to be, whoever has the best governance, you can export this, again, I'll go back to the road, I think that's a role that we can, at least the economy is large enough within the Greater Bay Area, we can perfect. We can iterate, perfect the smooth flow of physical goods. Hong Kong's role, I don't think, is actually the physical goods role. I think our role is the trading of intangible property. You know, you mentioned at the beginning you're very interested, we've talked about this, about intellectual property and IP trading. There's a business of IP conference at the end of this year. It's the trading of designs and intangible assets. But the goal is the same. Where did this come from? What's the provenance? Where is this going? And environmental goals and the Paris Agreement, what have you, provable sustainability is conditional. Then we have both towards the financing, but also the scope to be.
Just to add a little bit to that. Previously, when we started to talk about how, this custodian service for ICO, and public chain coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, there really is no point in doing so because they don't generate any interest or they don't generate any additional profit. And custodian service, I'm no IT expert, but I'm no IT security expert, but obviously these cost. So these costs, who are going to bear them? Are the people who actually own the Bitcoin or the Ethereum going to bear them? Nowadays, banking in Hong Kong, they no longer charge money for opening an account in the bank. In the old days, they charge you a bank charge, but now they don't charge it anymore. So, in a concept where nobody really spending their money on these things, STO actually opens up a whole new, era for the custodian part, because you can now actually set up a treasury function to keep assets that can generate dividends. It can actually generate interest. A bond-based asset-backed STO that can change bonds into a tokenized form should technically be able to provide sufficient interest generation to run the custodian services as well. Now, if you put that together with the initiative, federal initiative, just take for example, a couple of years ago, Olympus, I'm not sure you guys know which company, it's a camera company. Olympus moved their entire treasury function all the way from Japan to Hong Kong, instead of keeping all the treasury functions, controlling all the Asia exchanges, for example, their currency exchange services, their treasury, the money controlling functions, all back to the financial controller in Hong Kong, just so that they can have a higher and quicker liquidity to move their money around. Now, imagine companies doing, with an STO function, put all their assets controlled, all based in Hong Kong as well. We have that particular potential to generate enough flow, liquidity for investors in general to put their money in Hong Kong, that particular service for everybody, which is something that I think what a hub can actually be able to provide.
Okay, thank you. Times is running up. I just want to ask my last question. So, could each of you just give 1-2 sentences for the immediate next steps that you think could help Hong Kong to move one step closer to this vision? What can we do?
We start. I think we've already started the immediate next step here, right? We need more discussions about this. So this is so new, we need to engage more with the mainstream, right? So already, very often, as you asked earlier on, are there any regulators here? Last week I was at a regulators conference, okay, where everybody's legal compliance and regulators from around the region. So we need more of these discussions where we include more of the mainstream together with the cutting edge thinking, so that we can develop the new business models, we can develop the new ways of thinking about this under the regulated regime.
Tony?
Is because we are actually entered, it's called token economy, and basically, if we talk about decentralized everything, just like a Bitcoin when it appears, nobody believes it, but after many years, there's no government, only the technology, only the internet. Everything is just trading by itself, no centralized. And I mean, they have a so-called foundation before, but actually they also dissolve. So basically, there's nothing there, and then there's based on the based on the consensus and based on the Bitcoin characteristic, smart contract, and everything is there. So basically, if we're talking about the hubs, we have to say, in terms of the blockchain, what we are there in Hong Kong to get the position. That should be the super node that we actually try to compete with for the blockchain industry. So basically, if we can actually, like this conference, we have more intelligent people, a lot of people here, and then we can actually think about how we can actually to catch this kind of a super node for the different, to enhance competitiveness of Hong Kong. I think that's one thing. The other thing is about the final thing. Sorry, I just have some more things I want to say. Is about the exchange. Basically, you see everything just decentralized. Probably in the future we don't need the centralized exchange. But if we really need a centralized exchange, then you see what we actually advise to our client. We're using the AWS, Amazon. Then where is the IP is? Where is the jurisdiction is? But where is IP? No one can tell you where is the IP when they do the trading. So basically, it's the totally new era of the new economy. So we have a lot of things we need to actually figure out Hong Kong position as an NTO in terms of the blockchain perspective. I think that's one thing I want to mention.
Okay, Evan, please be brief. We are running out of time.
Yes, yeah, very brief sentence. Set clear rules, offer very practical sandbox and issuing license to qualified company. Lots of countries are going quick and strong. STO is your hands on that now.
Quick thing would be for STO. Put away STO aside. The first thing that we need to become a hub is a race to get everything under one roof. So we have exchanges who are operating solely on exchanges. We have the crypto funds, investment companies that are running solely on the asset management side, and we also have custodian services that put crypto stuff in a big vault. I think we need at the end of the day, it's always a race toward getting all these elements into under one single roof, and I think that's what an STO hub means.
Electronic business registration certificate. So we need an electronic ID system of companies so that we can verify and validate companies as easily as possible. That, I think, unlock a lot of potential. We've got the ID card, but we need something for companies. Companies cannot be anonymous. The minute we do that, then we can digitize the cap table, and then we can unleash all of this.
And my answer to that, as an angel investor, also encourage young people to do entrepreneurship and teaching that in university. My solution is to invest or incubate a company which eventually do a STO bigger than Telegram. And that will make Hong Kong into the hub because we attract so much talent into Hong Kong. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give our panelists a big hand for this excellent panel.